Hey, my gorgeous ones. I'll just wait for a couple people to come on board so that we're not missing out or doing anything. I know this one is a non-scheduled live, one that I was not even expecting to complete. Hello. Hello, my sweetheart. Hi, Jessica. Hi, honey bun. Oh, hi. Oh, wow. Everybody came in really quickly there. Hi. Hi. Edison. Jackin. Hi. Peter. Hello. David. Hello. Anthony. Hello. Oh, wonderful. Hello, everybody. Guisep. Hello. Christians. Hi. Siddhant. Hi. Hello, everybody. Jessica. Hello, my sweetheart. Welcome, everybody. Hi. So, hi, Sunny. Hi, Michele. Hello, my doves. Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Hi, Sunny. Now, this is, of course, this is just my observations. I have recently been... Hi, Jessica, sweetie. Hi, Amishtal. I have recently been... I follow my heart's content. Put it that way. I always follow my heart's desires. And that can come in many different shapes and forms. And sometimes I'm just literally called to just communicate, to speak to people, and just to understand the random kind of individuals that have nothing to do with frequency or anything or lessons, but just to simply sit and communicate. And recently, and by all means, please chime in on this. If you feel like you are, if you're resonating with what I'm saying tonight, or if you just have some comments of your own or questions, then please, by all means, please do comment. Hello, everybody who's just watching now as well. Now, why this has come about is because I've been speaking to recently a lot of men and women, separately, single men and women, or men and women who are in relationships, and there's a lot of turmoil going on. There's a lot of turmoil, and it can range from so many different things. There is societal stress, there's, he doesn't appreciate me, or she doesn't appreciate what I do. They say things about me. There's abuse thrown here, there, and everywhere from their partners. And it can be so full of just venom and turmoil, and relationships can be looked at as so desolate. But with me looking at the collective, oh, Sunny, well, yes, welcome. Yes, I did just accept your friendship. Welcome, my sweetheart. Hopefully you learned something. Now, Jessica, Delva, baggage, depression, uncertainty, exactly. Now, again, I'm an individual that sees patterns and the meanings in those patterns. And whilst I have been speaking to these wonderful individuals, I have been finding the pattern within their relationships and how it is applied to society and the programming that we have come about. So, with my observations, what I've found is that men, and I'm going to address men firstly, because this is something that is so deep within us as society and within you as men. There is such a lack of compassion within your behaviors. I have spoken to men who have been so deeply hurt, their relationships have fallen apart. Their women have cheated on them, or their partners have cheated on them. Or they are finding that they are looking elsewhere outside of the relationship. They are finding that they are always searching for love. How many people, how many because I get a lot of people who message me. I have a lot of men who message me, and I have a lot of women who message me. But a lot of the men who are messaging me, the majority of them are looking for love. They are looking for literally compassion. That in which they are lacking so very much in their everyday lives. Now, how does this manifest, or how am I getting to this pattern? And I'm gonna, Jessica, you say cyclical, like anything else in the universe, till lessons are learned. You're absolutely right. But I was wondering, I was like, what is it specifically? Why is it that men are finding it so difficult? And the key is compassion. So, again, how am I relating this? Or how am I making myself clear? Well, men are lacking compassion. They lack compassion because they are not taught compassion. And raise your hand here if you're a man. If you are a man watching this live right now, or possibly watching this live a little bit later. But give me a thumbs up or anything if you were raised within a household where you were abused, where you were taught that men don't cry, that you were taught that a real man is one that is strong and has strength and leads his household with an iron fist kind of thing. Just tell me, how many men have experienced this? Even if you don't tell me, I know so many have. So many have. However, again, when we are raised in this kind of environment, when our men are raised in this kind of environment, there is a lack of compassion that is taught to them and within their hearts. Right? Jessica, you say crying shows weakness, right? Christine, hello, sweetheart. Yes, because we raise our men to literally disconnect themselves from their compassion. Because to show compassion is, as Jessica said, weakness. Which is complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. So, our men lack compassion. Yet when they grow up into men, from little boys who did not get the appropriate love from their fathers, did not get the appropriate love from their mothers, because it would have made them weak. Nah. That love would have literally made them strong. Ari, amazing aura. Thank you, sweetheart. I have nothing but love in my heart. Now, why is this so... What is the key to this puzzle here? Like, what is the piece that I'm trying to get at? Well, let's go on to women. Women, we have been raised to accept a lack of compassion, because we are supposed to be the compassionate ones that continually generate these feelings of love, emotions, and happiness and nurturing. Right? However, we are taught to suppress our intuition. We are taught to suppress our need for compassion and just, again, look at the physical while giving ourselves to our partners. Now, why is this so detrimental? Right? Here's the thing. Men are of the physical. They live within the physical. So everything that they do around them is primarily, again, in the physical. When they show love, they show it physically. Right? It's all to do with the physical. They believe, and again, men, you can totally tell me if I'm wrong here. Totally tell me if I'm wrong. Because this is a discussion, I'm open to it. But again, so many men, they seek the physical. When they want to show their lady that they love them, what do? They want to have passionate lovemaking and sex. The physical. You know, how many women have said this to me? my husband or my partner only thinks that only sex is how you show you love me. Right? Very physical. Women, we are different. We show our love through the heart, through the ethereal, through our thoughts, through our nurturing capabilities, which does not really come from the physical, but it is generated in our mind. That's how we show we love you. We do not show that we love you through sex. We show we love you through caring for you when you're sick, through holding you when you need to be held. However, this is where this is where we go wrong. Because in order for a woman to show a physical compassion, to show a physical need, that what the men need, they need to feel compassion first. They need to feel compassion first. However, our men have been raised without the knowledge of being able to show compassion. So what we have is then we have women who are being shown love in the physical through sex, but we are not accepting that love because we need love through the ethereal, through our hearts. But when we want to show our love through the ethereal, we kind of get blocked off from doing it because we do not have the compassion. I'm hoping I'm making sense with this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of a scenario or an example, and I'll use myself in my own relationship with Kulipup to describe what I mean. So Jessica Davila, you said this is how I see it, right? Yes. Jessica, I agree. As people, we need to take better care of ourselves. We do. We need to take better care of ourselves, and we need to take better care of our children, to not program them into voiding love and accepting fear, right? The only reason we do not show our young men, our young boys, compassion as children is because we fear that they will be weak for the future. So we are programming fear into them. We tell our young ladies that, you have to be pretty, you have to be physically upkept. Forget your brain, forget your heart, right? And what does this breed? It breeds, again, more longing, and it's hard. So, Jessica Davila, you said, well, I'm not a man, but I didn't cry when I was younger, and I raised my kids the same way. You don't show your feelings. That is so hard, Jessica. Because we need to express these feelings if we are to move on and move forward. Jessica Muncie, Amishtal, you say, for me, I find that men tend to get down on themselves a lot because they feel failure when we hurt, like if they think they don't protect, provide, things like that, and it makes me feel awful. These are the things that are what give them value instead of their hearts. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay. So I think I am not making myself as clear as I'd want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my experience with Kulipup as well, and how this is connected with so many individuals. Jessica, you say, it's very hard. I didn't even hug, but now I'm learning. Oh, good, because when you learn to hug and when you learn to love and when you learn to release and express, oh, does life change for you, my sweetheart? Does life ever change for you? So, telling you about, giving you my story so you could understand a little bit further. I would give you another individual's example, but I don't have their permission, so I'm not going to do that. But during Kulipup and I's relationship, we always had this. We always tried so hard because, again, we're twin flames, so there was a level of unbalance that we had to work through, and it's hell and a half. It's hell and a half, and many times when individuals are going through these relationships and the rough times get really, really rough, you tend to just want to run away from it. And now, don't get me wrong, if you are in a relationship where you are suffering physical abuse or heavy mental abuse, then I do never ever recommend you to say, oh, tough it out and keep on going like that. Not at all. But when you know the other individual does have genuine love in their heart for you. Genuine love that does not come in the form of abuse. But anywho. So, giving you a little bit of backstory here, or scenarios. When Lipup and I were, because we are coming up on our 17th year anniversary in January, so we've been together for a while. But after the decade or so, after our relationship, we never really fought too much. However, when we did fight, it was pretty damn hard. There was so much pain. There was so much lack of understanding. There was just so much struggle. And it wasn't until recently that I kind of recognized why there was so much struggle. So, I am an individual, and I am very much so like very many women out there. I found that life was okay, I didn't believe that there was anything wrong with my relationship, or I didn't believe that there was anything out of the ordinary with my relationship. I knew that fights came, but all you had to do was really fight at it and keep going, like someday I will find this true happiness that I'm looking for, or true understanding. Now, the kind of things that Lipup and I would fight about, and this is before we were Lipup and Clipup. This is when we were still our avatars and we were still believing we were of this earth. Things we would fight about. Lipup would always say that I was cold. And I know some of you watching this, you're like, what? Kulipup, you were cold? But no, I was cold. I was very, very cold. I was shut off and void of emotion for so long. Always having to try my best to bring out the feelings of happiness. Now, I know there's so many ladies that can relate to this and relate to me when I say it, because we go through this cycle of children, work, house, laundry, wine, and we're not happy and we're not content. And it's because we are also missing. We have so much love and compassion within us, but it is so very suppressed. But anyway, I'll get onto that in a minute. So, I went through life like this. I was void of emotion, and I didn't even realize it. I thought that this was just how life was. You go to work, you're exhausted, you come home, you try to make time to make love and spend time with your other half. However, whenever I was spending time with Lipup during this time, there was nothing there. And not saying that there was no love there, but there was nothing, there was no excitement, there was no joy. It was just simply existence. Yes, we're going out for a movie, but then you go for the movie, you come home, and it's just the same. It's just blah. No feelings in here. Jessica, I'm there now, right? It's not a nice feeling. Sunny, some people say boys are not to cry, but true is boys, they don't need to make cry. Women are girls. Well, yes, they don't want to. That's it. A lot of men, you're absolutely right, Sunny, they do not want to make a girl cry. But hopefully I'm going to help you find a way tonight in terms of understanding as to how to avoid this altogether. Right? Bishop, profound topic and feelings. Well, Bishop, I hope that you can connect with me and And I know I'm talking about the women's side, but I will be talking about the men's side soon. And hopefully we can get some more understanding. But Jessica, I'm barely existing. I look at every day like I can it be over? Yes. Jessica, that's where I was too. I was totally there. Literally just existing, not living. And I didn't know what it was. I did not know what I could do to change this. I thought to myself, maybe if I change my hair, maybe if I, change the way my makeup is, change my clothing, all in the physical, by the way. Maybe if I just went out every now and then and just had a little extra wine, maybe that would let me help. That would get me to live. And I tried it all. Nothing did. Nothing was able to lift this void of emotion that I was having. Now, Kulipup though, he felt this. He felt this coldness that was coming off of me. This lack of life, this lack of emotion. So he thought for so long that I would abandon him, that I was not really truly in love with him. But the thing is, I was. I knew I loved him, and I knew I would never leave him. But I just could not get over this coldness. Now in turn though, again, he felt this lack of emotion from me. And that triggered him. Because he felt this lack of emotion, he felt that he was doing something wrong. And he couldn't understand what it was. So he became defensive. He became very defensive. When he became defensive, that triggered me to go even deeper inside myself. Because I didn't know why I had this void. And when he got defensive, that triggered my emotions. Because I didn't understand why I was cold. I couldn't feel the fact that I was being cold. And he could. But I literally couldn't get it. So, Jessica, so how do I fix this? Don't worry, sweetheart, I'm going to get there. I want to be free from the blah. I know exactly what you mean, and we're going to get there, sweetie. Jessica, forgive me for saying so, but I understand why he had said that, as you still hold some of that cold. Now, not because you will it, but just some things that seem still attached to your heart. And I'm thankful for your explaining this scenario. Practicing empathy for your partner can go weaker and creates fear of abandonment and multiplies and amplifies within our men, creates issues without reason. Yeah. And Jessica, you are absolutely right. There is still a part of me that has a trigger of being cold, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because this is again the observation that I've made recently and putting the connections and the patterns together. So Kulipup found that I was cold. He got defensive because when he tried to show me his love, which was in the physical, because again, men show their love in the physical. They want to show you love in a term that where they feel the most energetic love, which is of course through sexual arousal, being aroused, right? It is. Having sex, being intimate, is one of the most intense unions you can have with another individual. And that is how Kulipup wanted to show me his love. But the thing is, it's not that I rejected him. It is just that I was so void and he could not feel the acceptance of his love. Buying the flowers for me as well, trying to be romantic. He would buy me flowers and I would say, that's wonderful, but they're going to die in a day anyway. And so, of course, that hit him. Because it was his physical gesture of love that I was just like, what? And anyway, when he didn't feel this from me, or this kind of acceptance, he again became defensive. And he became defensive. And how that came out was when an individual gets defensive and they have not had the opportunity to practice compassion or understand how to navigate compassion, what they tend to do is they tend to become accusatory in defense of their own self. So, because Lip didn't know why he was becoming defensive in the first place, he would then turn the whatever situation, he would kind of put it back on myself and would say, oh, well, if you, like, why are you like this? What is wrong with you? Why don't you ever show me any love? You don't really love me, those kinds of things. And whenever he did this, when he turned it back on me like that, I was just like, that's not true. I love you so much. But because he was being defensive and accusatory, I would go inside myself even more, right? And that would close me off even more. And I know a lot of you ladies feel the same way. I swear, if you've been in a relationship, we've all been through it at some point. Iris, what is the best reaction to someone cold to open up? Again, I'm getting there, I promise. I have to give you context first, though. Jessica, well, not without reason, just without proper perception of a need being met. Love is always an act of being in the moment and constant empathy. Yes, true. Very true, my sweetheart. Aggression comes from a place of pain, evil from an absence of God. Yeah. Absence of love. But anyway, now, we went through years of this. Me being cold, him getting defensive, and then becoming accusatory and so forth, and then me going inside myself. And then, you wait it out, and you come back together again because you override the situation. Time heals everything. But then the cycle continues. We would always bring ourselves back to this position. So, what happened that changed all of this, which I hope can help change, help bring some understanding to some of those who are watching me now? I was doing a lot of inner work. And Jessica, power struggles without common ground, union sucks. Right. This whole thing. It can be... Now, I'm going to give you a classic therapist's question, which is, how was your childhood? Because it always goes back to your childhood. I did some inner work, and I literally went back so deep into my childhood, and I brought back suppressed memories that I had no clue were there. Right? No clue were there. And when it came to my childhood, I don't remember quite a lot of it, to be honest with you. I literally don't remember very much of it. I remember snippets, things that were enjoyable, but I don't remember a lot of it. So when I have negativity inside me, I was I was like, where is this coming from? I cannot find where it is. So I had to literally sit with myself and go so deep into my memories to find where it was. And I wanted to know, and I went with the intention of, why can't I feel? Why could I not feel anything? And anyway, so it turns out, and now that I recalled the memories, I can remember all of them as well. But it turns out that I was very heavily sexually abused as a child. Very heavily. my second, and I'm going to share with you guys, if you are not comfortable with hearing stories of childhood abuse or anything like that, then please, you can stop watching right now. But I am going to share, and I'm going to be very open, because this is something that literally happens on a regular basis to so many children out there. And if we can stop the cycle now, this is wonderful. Hello, Luke House. Hi, Onaloko, my sweetheart. So, my childhood, I don't remember a lot of it because of the abuse that that I literally had to take on board. The abuse started when I was 4.5. Between the ages of 5 to 7, I was brutally raped by my second grade teacher. And one particular incident was when I was taken and I was very, very brutally raped. And my little body was, I took myself during the time that it was, during the time that this was happening. I am one of those individuals where I did not scream out. I did not. When the abuse was happening, I took myself back into myself. My beautiful guides and guardian angels that were with me that day. Luke Alst is here with us. Luke Alst was with me, and also Lupe was with me. Again, that's Archangel Uriel. And while this was happening, they literally took me into so deep within myself that I became comatose as a child during this happened. And so much to the fact that my abuser found that I was non-responsive. So what he did was he took me down to the nearest stream. My clothes were removed, washed me off, washed the blood off, and left me there by the stream to die when I was a kid. And I woke up and I was lost, I was confused, I was cold, and I was in pain. I took my little body back up to the incident, and I found my clothes, which were in the garbage. And I walked home. I walked home. Now, the thing is, this abuse carried on for so long throughout my childhood, this, again, very, very hard abuse, that it trained myself. I had trained myself that when fear or pain came to me, that my heart would close, that I would be void of emotion, that I would be void of everything, so I could not feel the pain. So, as the abuse continued, and as I grew older, and of course when it ended, and I was a teenager, an adult, and so forth, I carried this coldness with me. And it wasn't coldness, it was a defense mechanism. That was how I got defensive. I would close myself off. Now, that, of course, I did not realize because, again, these memories were so heavily suppressed. But because of my trauma and because of my abuse, I was void of emotion whenever I would be approached with a physical act of love that hurt. Kulipup was cut off. I wouldn't be able to feel. Now, what made this worse, though, was not because I went through the physical pain and abuse, because I blocked that out. Remember, so I cut it off. But here's the thing: my abusers would consistently show me a very hard lack of compassion. There was no compassion. No compassion. And when I was doing my inner work now as an adult, I realized that if I'm not shown compassion, and what I mean by compassion, if anybody is watching this and they don't understand what I mean by compassion, what I mean is that when you show compassion to an individual, it means that you are careful or considerate of the circumstances and of their hearts. You care that if your actions will hurt this other individual. You care about the consequences or the reaction that you are going to get. So when you have compassion, you are trying to deliver a message or deliver whatever you are delivering with awareness, with care, and with kindness. That is compassion. Now, when I was growing up, of course, my little body and myself, I was not shown compassion. I was shown that I was being used, of course. You know? Just literally being used. There was no care for me to, my abusers, they did not seem to care how much it hurt me. And then they would come back and of course, try to show you love, hold you close, and just be like, oh, you're okay, but when they've hurt you so much. So basically, that's where the wounds on my heart came from. So if I didn't have compassion, that would again cut off the emotions within my heart and bring me back to being cold. Now, how does that work out in a relationship? Oh, and sorry, let me get a few of these comments here. Jessica, I don't like sitting with myself, and I know I need to get past it. And it is the sexual abuse and neglect that I don't like to go over. Yes, Jessica, my sweetheart, I know exactly what you mean. Because when I had to come to terms with what had happened to me, and it was not just my second grade teacher, it was my father as well. It was throughout, it is a cycle. And I found that because I was still hurting so deeply inside from this, I was like this beacon and magnet for individuals who wanted to abuse me. But I didn't even know it. But again, it is not until we address it, accept what had happened, protect ourselves on the inside where we can move forward. Jessica, my sweetheart, and this is for anybody else who has gone through childhood sexual abuse. I do have a meditation on YouTube. It is very clear. It says childhood sexual abuse and trauma. Please, Jessica, I really, really recommend taking a few minutes out to listen to that to help you address this and stop living in this fear and this pain. So let's have a look at some other comments. Jessica, actually finding it interesting you bringing that up. Think it's a fantastic approach to assisting the inner work process for a partner, especially when traumas manifest into mental health illness and feelings of negative nature. You're a lot like me with that form of trauma and holding things in deep and going blank almost. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bless you, sweetheart. Sunny, some people think rank is everything, but that's not true. When you falling love everywhere, then you realize they will also give you love back and respect someone. They will also respect you. And your friendship and family background is most important to growth, that childhood, good or bad. That's why some child say abuse to them parents too, and those is so bad. Yes. You're absolutely right, Sunny. Thank you. Oh, Noloka, yes, slam the door shut. Right? I don't let people in so they can't get hurt. Jessica, sorry, you say I don't let people in so that I can't get hurt, right? It's hard. It's hard. Jessica Muncie, you say, that's why I feel the stigma of mental health is so awful, because they are simply defense mechanisms. IMO and an evolution IMO, I'm really bad with this. with things like LMFAO and these. I'm like, I have no clue what that means. And an evolution of the mind in a fashion to survive. However, a regressive trait of the heart itself with the inability to heal after traumas have stopped. Oh, it can heal, but we just have to heal it. Inability to heal quickly. Yes, you're absolutely right. Cassie, happy day, my dear. Hello, sweetheart. Yes, a wonderful day. Susan, God bless you. This hurts to hear you talk of this. I'm so sorry. Don't worry. Nobody. I do not want anybody to. Susan, thank you so much, sweetheart. But I do not want anybody to feel, sorry or pity. This is what I needed to pay. I saw my life before I incarnated into it. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, and I knew this was what I needed to do. If you must truly know, this was my penance to pay for the sin. Okay. This is gonna sound a little deep. All right. It's gonna sound a little crazy, but in my opinion, thank you very much, Jessica. I am always in my opinion. Okay, great. But it is the penance that I needed to pay. To be void of my childhood, to go through such atrocious trauma. It was to pay for the sins of my consciousness. And I'm the consciousness of all mankind, so it was the sins of all of mankind that I had to pay for with this. To lose my childhood, to lose that part of my life, to lose that part of myself, and still come out on top, basically, and still find a way to love and get through it. So when you are an old soul, you tend to go through a severe amount of trauma in your life. It is part of your penance, it's part of your lesson that you have to learn, and it's a lesson that I've learned. My soul has evolved, my soul has grown. My soul knows what serious trauma is, and my soul knows how to overcome this trauma. And this is why I can hopefully help teach you guys how to do it too. Okay, Jessica, children live with what they learn, and if we don't teach them, if you hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands and heart. It negates the strength required to evolve through trauma. One person to another, I am sorry those things happened to you, and I apologize for those people. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. Sunny, your voice is really, really good like a speaker's. Well, I am a speaker and I am a teacher. So, okay. So, anyway, let's keep going. So, I found out the reason why I was so void, and the reason why Kulipup had trouble getting through to me. So that was my thing. I now know to this day that in order to get rid of this coldness, in order to overcome this automatic defense mechanism of going inside myself, I need compassion. I need for the other individual, I need for Kulipup to show me that he cares more for my heart than he does my physical body. All right? Which he does. He definitely does. I'm speaking in hindsight. Like this happened a while ago. So let's go on with Kulipup though. Now, why was Kulipup unable to show me the compassion that I needed in order to unlock my emotions? Because, by the way, when I'm cold like that, when I am void of my emotions, it means I am void of being able to give myself on a physical basis. And I don't just mean during sex or anything like that. I mean to trigger my empathy so that Kulipup can feel my emotions, feel my energy, and feel my love without doing anything at all. Because otherwise he would come into my presence and there would be nothing there. Right? Nothing there. So I needed compassion, and I needed him to give it to me. Now, Kulipup though, throughout our years, never gave me compassion. He found it so difficult, and here's the reason why. See, Kulipup was raised in an environment where he was physically abused. Not sexually, but physically abused. His father was he was an incredibly abusive man. To the point where he had Kulipup tried to defend himself at one point, and he got brutally pummeled into submission. Where I mean a young boy with a grown man who was very strong, literally wailing into this little boy. He was abused. His mother would find all sorts of objects to beat him with. His father would find all sorts of ways to beat him. And the thing is, they had always made it out to be his fault. So he grew up in an environment that showed him no compassion. So he did not learn any compassion. He did not learn how to be kind, or how to express himself without being defensive. Right? He was raised in an environment where you cannot cry. You cannot show emotion. You have to be tough. Because a man is strong, that kind of rubbish. So of course, when men have grown up in this environment with the abuse that he faced, and when I say they turned it around on him in terms of saying that I'm beating you basically because you're a bad kid. And when he was doing his inner work, and he's just like, I was a great kid. I was happy. I was joyous. I was lovely. He was really clean too. I'm like, holy shit, that's great. You know? But he was literally constantly being abused by adults from a young age, being hit left, right, and center. Always being on the defensive, because you can imagine being a child and being abused. Because I know, Cassie, I grew up in a physically abusive home. Right? So you know what I'm saying, right? You are on defense on a physical basis. And it's hard. So what Kulipup did was, as he grew up, he searched. He was looking for compassion. He was looking for somebody to just say, I love you, and mean it without being defensive. He was searching for love. And this is one of the things I'm finding, is that so many men contact me. And yes, I'm not going to lie, a lot of men will literally send me a friend request only because they've seen my photo and because they want me to send them naked pictures, which I'm not going to do. Not at all. Not at all. But the thing is, it is not the fact that they are seeking. Now, some are just perverted, don't get me wrong. But the majority of them are simply seeking love in the heart. Because I speak to so many, and after we get past the whole, well, no, I'm not sending you my photos. No, I do not want to see your penis. No, I don't want to see any. No, I don't want to have any of that kind of talk. But when I ask them, you have an opportunity here to have a good conversation. You have an opportunity here to find understanding, to find peace. Tell me, what is it that you really seek? And it breaks my heart, because it's just love. It's just, they are searching for compassion. They are searching for kindness. So many of them have been abused, whether that be mentally or physically. And all they want, just like Kulipup, all they want is to literally be told, it's cool, I love you, you're okay, accept yourself. But anyway. So we have men who have been raised, as Kulipup was, in an environment that just was void of compassion. But here's the thing. When we met and we got together, we saved each other. He was looking for compassion, and I was looking for somebody to truly love me for my heart and not just use me for my body. Right? He was looking for a woman that would be gentle with him, be kind with him, and say that, it's not your fault. And as teenagers, we found each other. We found each other, and we clung to each other because we were our safe haven. And with that, we ran from our families. We literally moved out together at the age of 16. We were homeless as that age because we refused to go back to our parents' homes. He refused to go back to the home where he was constantly on edge, like, having your back up against the wall because you don't know when's the next time you're going to receive this physical pain. And I was running from my family because I did not want to go through any more of that coldness, that nothingness that was there, the no love in my heart. We found each other and we ran together. We found a home. We had a baby, We came together and we found solace within each other. But of course, our cycle of abuse came back to haunt us in a way. Right? It came back. We fought because I was still cold from my trauma and my abuse, and I wasn't able to give him the physical love he was looking for that his parents didn't give him. But because he didn't know how to give me the love I needed in order to open up. He didn't know how to give me the compassion I needed to open my feelings up to him. So we stayed in this cycle over and over and over again. But now we understand. We understand so deeply where our problems had come from. Why he became so defensive over my coldness. Why I was cold in the beginning. So the way it's kind of explained is that so many people, when we are going through these situations, it's like only they have the key. Only they have the key to unlock your heart. Because what is inside your heart is what they want. So, for example, a man has the key to a woman's heart. That key is compassion. He needs to show this compassion. Right? Because once he takes that key and he unlocks it, what is behind that woman's heart will be so beautiful. What she can give him will help him to grow so much stronger. And what he gives her in back, that key that he gives her in return, can literally save her from this coldness that we feel. But it's hard because our men have the key, but they've lost it. They've lost it. So they are desperately seeking what is behind this treasure chest, and we desperately want to give them it. But we have to have this compassion. We have to find it. So what do we do? Right? What do we do? How do we solve this? How do we get past this? And I know if you've watched me before, you know what I'm going to say now. You know what? I bet you anybody, if I get a comment up really quickly from those of you who have watched me often, like, what am I going to say? Tell me what I'm going to say. Well, I'm waiting, but the key is inner work. You have to stop running from this abuse. And yes, I know so many people will say, I wasn't abused. I didn't have this. This isn't totally not applicable to me. I still say, try to find it. Because there is a reason that these cycles, just like Kulipup and I, when we went through our cycles, it was always the same thing that came back to us. His lack of compassion that he was showing me, and my coldness. And neither of us could understand why this was happening. And by the way, Kulipup, until I literally mentioned this, he didn't think he did not even recognize that the environment he grew up in was an abusive one. I didn't even recognize that the environment that I grew up in was an abusive one. Right? How many families, how many people grow up in a family where their parents were always angry? They did suffer physical abuse. They did suffer mental abuse. But we go through and we go, well, that's family. Everybody's family is screwed up. You know? I'm a melanated woman. I come from a Caribbean background. Kulipup is, of course, a beautiful melanated man. He comes from a Caribbean background. And if you come from a Caribbean or possibly even African or any kind of melanated country, if you come from those backgrounds, how many people, raise your hand if you said, if you've heard one of your friends speak back to their parents, like swear at their parents, and you're looking at your friend like, holy crap, if I were to do that to my parents, I would die. I would be dead. You know? How many people do this? But we don't, and not to say that it's condoning, swearing at your parents or anything, but literally, how many people grow up in a family where they're just like, getting beat is normal, Oh, if you don't clean your room, you're going to get the belt. Oh, if you don't, if you step out of line, like, Kulipup would literally laugh at the fact, he's like, yeah, my mom got a pot one time and beat me with a pot. And I had to sit him down and just be like, that is not normal behavior. That is child abuse. Growing up, living in these environments where your parents are constantly angry, where they are constantly putting you down as a child, where they are constantly beating you or abusing you sexually. This is not normal. Or sorry, it's common, but it is not healthy. This is abuse. This is child abuse. And you have to recognize it for what it is if you're going to heal. You have to recognize it for what it is. But anyway, as soon as I pointed this out to Kulipup, and as soon as we kind of both went inside ourselves, we both understood why we were coming into these cycled patterns over and over again. And I say this to the men that are out there who have this, they have been in the same environment, in the same situation, where they have been taught to void love, where they are on the defensive, where now they are adults and they are just screaming out to be held and to be loved. And I tell you, and I know I feel it so much because I am recalling the individuals I'm speaking to. And trust me, sometimes I got some really derogatory things that were sent to me. But when you uncover, when you take that surface part off, because you know what would happen? They would send a derogatory thing to a woman or another woman, and she would go tell them to fuck off, or bugger off, or I don't want that. Or they would be treated the same way that they've always been treated. So they think it's normal. And so then they think women don't hold love in their hearts. They're like, oh, there's only cold women out there. All they want is money, or they don't care, or they're anything. So because they think that women don't care, they don't care about women. But the thing is, when you can get rid of that surface that outwardly, just what's on the surface. And when you can literally go a little deeper, and when you feel their heart, and when you're just thinking, it is not that you are purposely trying to be rude. It is not that you are purposely trying to be derogatory or demanding. It is just that you want love and compassion. Because I tell you, how many times will I, if I can get past the surface and speak to an individual, I will speak to them. And they speak back to me, and you know what they do? They say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for sending you that photo. I'm sorry for sending you that video. I'm sorry about that. Can you help me? And I tell them, yes, of course I can. Let me show you the compassion. Let me show you what compassion feels like. And do you know that when you show a man a little bit of compassion, when you can go through the surface and just show them that little bit of compassion, what that triggers inside them? You see them for their hearts, that suppression of the emotions, to be open, to show love, and you see how beautiful they can be. That they are not ones that should be cast aside by society, that they should be thrown away, that they should be treated any differently. It's like, no, you just have to recognize the abuse that has been there. Women, we are in this cycle of such coldness, void of emotion. And it is because we go through so much shit. But we are constantly running from it. We run from pain like you run from a shark. Or sorry, like you swim away from a shark. That was a terrible analogy. We run from pain like we run from a bear, you know? We avoid pain so very much because for women, we feel it in our hearts. And when we've experienced pain before, emotional pain, our hearts are open. It's like having gashes all over your body. You're going to have to give me some time, babes. Thank you, baby. It feels like gashes, and it feels like an open wound. And you know when you take your thumb, if you had an open wound on your arm and you took your thumb and just kind of pressed in it, it would hurt, it would sting, it would just feel atrocious. Those are the wounds that are on our heart. And because we run from this pain, we close our hearts off. We put an iron wall of protection around our hearts. And we never want to go back to it. We never do. And we keep running from it. But then we are stuck in our own pattern. We are void of our emotion. And then we're wondering why our lives are like this. We wonder why our men treat us this way, why we don't feel the love from them, why we don't feel acceptance within ourselves, why this is happening. And I'm telling you, it's because we are running from the pain we are running from these gashes in our hearts. So the only way that either party is going to overcome this is if we both, men and women, stop, look at ourselves, acknowledge what has been going on, and start the healing process. Now, I'm not saying that as women, we need to, now go cater to every man that doesn't show us compassion because we need to have them do that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that as women, we need to stop running from our own pain. We need to finally go back to those memories, go back to those scenarios, go back to that. And we need to understand it, right? We need to understand what was going on with ourselves. Because when we understand it, we can recognize when it's happening in this now moment. You know, I was abused for so many years, and I ran from this. My abusers did not show me compassion. I may not remember the words that they spoke, but my energy remembers it. My energy remembers it. So whenever Kulipup, when he had the same energy, which was lack of compassion, or, because you know what, as abusers, what they do is they will blame the victim for their lack of participation. You know, like I was used sexually, but then when I was found not to be enjoying it as a child, I was then blamed. I was then told that it was my fault because I was not reciprocating this pleasure for these disgusting old men, by the way. You know, I was told that as a child that if I don't enjoy doing these acts, it's my fault. Because that's what an abuser does. Now, Kulipup, when you have lack of compassion, when you are always on defense, he did not know his energy would mimic that of an abuser. Although he was never abusive. I need to really, really clarify that. He was never abusive. But his energy, his approach, triggered my energy, right? My energy memory, if you can. And when I was cold and void of compassion with him, void of love, void of these kinds of things, that triggered his emotional memory when he got no love, when he was abused, right? Your energies do not forget this. So we have to go back in to understand it. Now that I understand it, I have been able to get Kulipup to also understand it. So he understands compassion now. Because before, where the cycle was triggered again, when I was unaware, was literally he would get defensive. He would trigger that energy that my abusers would have, which triggered my energy, which I immediately then cut off my emotions. And then he immediately put up his defense walls, right? So it was literally, again, the cycle. So when you go inside yourself, when you do your inner work, when you address this abuse, when you address these issues and stop running from this fear, this is how you stop the cycle. Because for one, you are releasing that energetic memory, right? You are releasing it. And you are no longer letting it fester and sit and stir, ready to be triggered. All right? Now that I understand my abuse, I can recognize it when it's happening now, and I can stop it. So if I feel that anybody is speaking to me in a way that is similar to the way my abuser spoke to me, I stop it. I stop it so then I know I'm not going to feel that pain anymore. The same way that if you burn yourself on the stove because you weren't wearing oven gloves, you only burn yourself once. And then you remember, oven gloves when I'm dealing with hot surfaces, and you don't let the pain happen again because you are protecting yourself. Kulipup is doing the same thing, right? Kulipup is learning his compassion. He understood that at times when he wanted to get his point across, when he wanted to get his words out, that he does not need to be defensive. That all he needs to do is ask, but ask with love in his heart. If he is not in understanding of a situation, or if a situation that we have been through has caused him concern or pain in any way, before it would be defense and but no, not anymore. What he does is he'll come and he'll speak with love. Still get his concern out, but speak in love. And that is the key. That is the key, speaking in love and being aware. Right Right. I'm gonna read some of these comments because I know I was kind of going through and I've missed a lot of comments. So let's have a look here. I'm gonna go back up here. So, all right. Cassie, empaths normally come into traumatic situations to help to clear up the family negative karmic lineage and to help wake up the consciousness of the planet. Yes, empaths are definitely here for that, Cassie. But what we also have to appreciate is that this cycle of abuse is not just limited to empaths. This has been programmed into us, right? It has been literally programmed into us. And it is so common now, so common knowledge that everybody believes this is regular. Everybody believes that living with this pain and that living with this abuse is what we should be doing. It's just what happens. When no, it has been programmed. How many people literally how many women go through a line of abuse, sexual or physical, and find that they either commit that with their own children, in their own families? Because I know my mother was heavily abused as a child, physically. And of course, she would beat me. She would beat me and she would beat my sisters on a regular basis. So how many people know that they're... I know that was the case for Kulipup too. His mother suffered horrible trauma in terms of physical abuse in her family. So did his father. So of course, what did they do? They repeated the cycle and they beat the crap out of him. Right? I have to say, my father suffered sexual abuse as a child. He went to boarding school in England, all boys boarding school, so he was abused. So I was sexually abused by him as well. And others, So it is the cycle that we are all in. Alcoholism. How many people come from a family of alcoholics and they find that they are alcoholics as well? Or there's always been a struggle with drink. These are cycles and programs that are generational. And we have to acknowledge them. We have to stop saying that this is normal. We have to stop making excuses for it. We have to stop when somebody says, oh, this is what I went in my childhood. You got to stop and just be like, are you okay? Are you hurting? Rather than going, yeah, that's all families, right? We got to stop that. Onaloka, you say, the sins of my past life made me go through this in this life. It's a huge struggle to get through. It is. And it is hard. Pamela, what happened to the people that did that to you? Well, my father's dead now. Which it was funny because when he died, I started getting visions of him sexually abusing my older sister and myself, but I ran from those. I didn't want to believe it because, again, these were memories that I suppressed that I totally forgot, right? Because my father was a groomer when it came to his sexual abuse. He groomed children. He made them feel so close to them that he could continue the cycle of abuse. And then I got these visions and I ran from it. And I'm like, that's weird. And I ran from it and I didn't do it. But then I did the inner work and I found my memories and I'm like, I remember everything. And it's not very nice. But my father is dead. My second grade teacher, I believe he is still living in BC. And I'm actually speaking, after I've uncovered these memories, I'm actually now speaking to the police to report it. Because that was part of my healing. Not the knowledge of this man who literally had no mercy in the way he treated the children he abused. And there was about 17 other children that he did abuse in the same way. I grew up in a very small town, so it was very secluded. So now I decided to, when I came into this knowledge, when I came back to the memories, I'm like, well, screw that. I'm not keeping silent about it. And I contacted the school board and I basically told them exactly what happened to me, and they contacted the police and the police got back to me, and that's what we're doing right now. But either way, during my inner work, these individuals are dead to me. They literally are. They will never cross my path again. And I have made it so because, for one, if I ever did see my second grade teacher again, my heart is full of love for everyone, but I'm also a very creatively cruel individual if I feel that I need to be. And yeah, I do not want to go down to that level. I am not going to lower my frequency. He's already taken too much from me as a child, so I will not give him any more of my energy again. So he's dead to me, so it doesn't matter really. Right. Okay, let's have a look here. Jessica, I can understand why you would take the stance you do on matters of abuse. I wonder, though, despite us all going through such things, I wonder also what they went through to bring them to do such acts. Yeah, it's the cycle. Just Amishtal, it is literally the cycle. Right? We have to remember that energy, again, doesn't disappear. It is only recycled. It is only and ever recycled. Now, if an individual is housing so very much hurt and abuse and pain within them, if they are releasing that, but not in a healthy way, if they are releasing that and causing more pain, suffering, and abuse, or if they are, well, basically, that abuse, that pain and suffering will be transferred into whoever they are around, right? And if that person then, in that moment, does not process this energy that has come to them, if they have not processed the negative energy, they absorb it and they hold it inside them. So again, it's just the transfer. The only way to release negative energy is to literally release it into love, release it into light. So how you release it into love and light is you release it into the now moment, in this physical now moment. By doing inner work, by speaking it, by getting all of this negative energy out. Because if it doesn't have anybody to transfer to, and if it doesn't have anything to feed off of, it literally will be eaten by love. It's eaten by love, right? This is why as well that when I'm healing you, when I'm going through a healing session and I'm taking out negativity away from your heart, I take it out of you and it is now in the present moment, and then I literally evaporate it with my light, with my love, with my energy. So I release it that way. That is how you stop the cycle, Jessica. That is how we stop it, Amishtal. You've got to release it. Otherwise, again, it is just transferred in. Otherwise it is just transferred to the next person or living creature until it is used and then transferred again, right? And that's what it is. Sunny, you say, how I speak very clear voice like you. I would like to speak like you. Well, you are a teacher. You speak very every day. Maybe that's why you speak very good. Sunny, thank you. I am a teacher. But the reason why I speak the way I speak is because I have come into my higher consciousness. Who speaks before you right now is not the original owner of this vessel. Who speaks to you now is literally a light being who has transferred my consciousness into this vessel. And I am an evolved being, like so many of the others who are watching at the moment, When you evolve, you become into who you are. When you know who you are, you speak with truth, you speak with honesty, and you speak with just what is in your heart. And what is in your heart is simply love. What is in your heart is beauty. What is in your heart is compassion. So when you speak from the heart, it flows out easily. So, my dear, you will do well. Speak from the heart and speak your truth. Susan, yes, Rick did that, and that's why I'm paying for it, but I'm hoping I can have a better understanding from your teaching and healing to help him. Oh, yes, Susan. Again, the best way to do this is to heal ourselves, understand ourselves. And trust me, sweetheart, once you understand yourself, there is nothing you cannot do. There is nothing you cannot achieve. It is beautiful when you can walk through life and live without fear. Live without this negativity weighing you down and stopping you. So, to literally stop paying for it, to stop the cycle, understand yourself. Always look inside. That is truly where all of the answers are. Sunny, and which subject do you teach your students? Oh, well, some of my students are watching. Please, you guys can comment there. But I teach energy. I teach enlightenment. I teach discovery of yourself and how to physically feel it. Hopefully understanding, hopefully a little wisdom. I teach truth and how to find it. Teach you how to manifest, how to discover your abilities, and hopefully how to use your abilities to discover your purpose. So, I will never teach in an institution, but I will teach you, just like this. Oh, yeah, Jessica Amishtal, yes, Shayla is all over here. She has decided to live in my bed. Onoloko, you say, my sexual abuse as a child led me to many physically and emotionally abusive relationships as an adult. I still have an incredibly difficult time with letting people get close. And when I do it, it's like I waiting for the rejection and the pain. Yes, sweetheart. Oh, what I feel you right there. Because again, what I discovered, see, one of my things was I always felt like I was a burden on people. Always. Growing up, this is one of the reasons why I was so reclusive for so long. Well, amongst other things. But I always felt that I was a burden. Always. So I always apologized. I would say sorry 1,000,000 times a day. When anybody was close to me, if they wanted to get close to me, and if I had a hint of letting go and being myself, I would immediately draw back and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm probably burdening you. And it was because I was abandoned as a child. And it was because I was constantly told that it was my fault that this misfortune was happening. That if only I would just enjoy it, things would be better. But because I was also a kid and I was manipulated, I didn't want to be abandoned either. Because literally, I didn't want to be cast aside. So as an adult, because I didn't want people to abandon me, for one, I stopped going near them. I said no. And two, I didn't even want to have the chance of being a burden to them. So I would immediately say, I must be a burden on you, before even giving them a chance to know who I was. So Onoloko, my sweetheart, I really hope you can do your inner work and face these at a very, very intense level so that you can also not feel the pain of rejection anymore. Right? Because now I'm an adult. Now I give my heart freely because I know how to protect my heart too. Right? And I know I'm not a burden on people because that's just silly. Right? How can I be a burden on people when literally I can't seem to get back to people in a reasonable time manner? Right? That's annoying, not burdensome. Okay, Brandy. And then when they find that powerful kind of unconditional love, most of the time they go the other direction as fast as they can. How can we change this or help them? Brandy, are you talking about men specifically? Because I find that. You know what? I'm going to ask you to clarify and just let me know who you're specifically talking about, if you're talking about men or women on that one, please. Thank you very much, James. Okay. Iris, so how did you break the cycle? Iris, yeah, I literally broke the cycle through doing intensive inner work, through not giving up. If I ever have these emotions within me, and again, I want everybody to appreciate, I'm incredibly aware. I'm incredibly aware of myself because I know myself so very well. So if I can't seem to find my heart, if I can't seem to feel the love radiating out of my body, I know there's something wrong there. I'm not hitting the right frequency. I'm not hitting the right frequency in my heart. So the first thing I do, Iris, is I go inside myself. And I'm like, no, I will find this energy and where it has been produced from. Sometimes it can be really quick and I can find it very quickly. Sometimes it'll take me a couple of days, right? Of me literally sitting there with myself for, about an hour or maybe a couple hours every day, just searching and finding and not giving up, not running. Because I realized, even as my higher consciousness, I had to go deep into doing inner work on a much grander scale. And I've been, and this is for all of us, all mankind, we have been running from our fear, not processing our fear, literally trying to escape from it for our entire existence. We never ever want to face our fears. That is why there is so much fear. It is here because we do not release it. We avoid it, we suppress it, we forget about it, we use our blind ignorance. So it stays there. It stays there, it feeds off us, it festers. And then we wonder, why isn't it going anywhere? So, that is how you break the cycle. You need to go back. You need to become aware. And when you are aware, you need to stop it. And you need to stop it at all costs. It's hard, and it doesn't happen instantly. After I discovered the memories of my abuse, I would consistently think about it every day. I would consistently attach anything. It would go straight back to the abuse. And it was closing me off. But you know what? You just consistently go back in and just being like, you know what? We are not giving up on this, because I know that what I suffered, that pattern, that cycle of abuse, it ends with me. And I will not let it, I will not let it go into my children to continue. I will not let it proceed into anybody else to continue. Never again. Because I am in control. I am in control of my life. I am in control of my behaviors and my actions in this now moment as an adult. So I will not let this pattern rule me, and I will not be in servitude to this fear. Because again, I got a thing with servitude, right? So that's how you break it, Iris. It is one of the simplest concepts, but also one of the most difficult things to actually put into action. But you got to keep doing it. Fear is hard when we keep running from it. Iris, so compassion is the key when someone is cold and you know they actually want love. Yes. Yes. But to be compassionate, you need to be aware. You need to take into consideration the feelings, the circumstances of others. I could very much so well have told Kulipup, oh, well, you're just horrible. You don't show me any compassion or anything like that. I could do that and just be like, unless you change, I'm not moving. I could totally take that approach. But again, I have compassion. So when I look at Kulipup, and when he's going through a period where he is being defensive, I no longer will go, you're just being that way. You're being cold, you're being mean. No, I go, let's look at what's happened. You suffered this as a child. I know that you don't automatically know how to be compassionate. I know you don't automatically know how to make your words kind. So I'm going to take that into consideration. Next, I'm going to take into consideration the circumstances and the issues. So for example, if Kulipup was unhappy with, maybe he was just generally upset, being moody, right? I would have to be like, okay, well, you're being moody to me, but what is the circumstances behind that? You know what? He's tired. He went to work all day. Work is hard. Physically tiring, physically tough, mentally draining. He doesn't like the people he works with, doesn't do well in a controlled environment. So I'm going to take that into consideration, right? So I know these two details now. So instead of me going to Kulipup and going, rah, 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 you don't give me what I need. Now I will go up to Kulipup and just be like, babe, I see you. I feel you. I see what you're going through. I know you're frustrated at work. I see how tired you are because I know I would be that tired. I see what is going on, but I also see what you're doing to me. I see that your words are hurting me right now, but I know you don't mean to hurt me, and I know that you love me entirely, and as I love you entirely. So how can we get to a solution where both of us are happy? Because I don't want you to be tired. Is there anything I can do to help assist you with our circumstance right now, with your circumstance at work? Can I help ease that a little bit? And then you know what he would do? Because I have not approached him in a combative way or an accusatory or blaming kind of way, he then comes to me and says, Kulipup, or babe. Well, it'd be something else back then anyway. But he'd be like, babe, thank you. I'm just stressed out. I'm just stressed out. And I don't know what to do. And I don't mean to be like that. And you know what I do? Come here, give me a hug. I don't want you to be like this. Let's find some solutions. And then we'll sit down. And in the same way I'm talking to you guys right now, in this calm voice that has nothing but love in it, he will speak to me the same way. And we'll come to a conclusion. And then we've grown. And then we've developed. Right? It can be just as easy as that. Just a little bit of compassion. A little bit of awareness of the situation. Right? That's all it needs there, Iris. Okay. Anna Marie, this is for my sisters Emma. Very, please. I've done today. Ask. I've done. I'm key. Trust me. Anna Marie, I'm so sorry, my dear. Can you clarify that for me, please? Cassie, what also helped me was knowing my past lives. That pinpointed the cycle. Yeah, past lives can really, really help. However, this is a cycle we definitely need to address now, though, Cassie. The abuse that has happened within this lifetime is what we need to clear out first. We need to get rid of these patterns first. And then we can go through our past lives when we can't seem to find anything else from this life, then we go into our past lives. Right? But first and foremost, I would definitely implore that your focus be on the present, on this life here, so that you can relinquish everything that you have here. Because there's plenty of people that I know that, I've done past life readings, I've done it my past lives too. And although, yes, you uncover some issues that you would have taken from your past lives, but it is in this life now that we can stop the cycle. From the understanding of this life now that we can stop the cycle. So that is what I'm going to recommend, my dear. Anna Marie, you say, Dolly, sis, I've love you, big sis. Emma, very love you, sis. Feel a lot. Oh, That's wonderful. I hope I'm getting that, but I love you guys too. Cassie, that abuse was accepted and was normalized as part of being in a family, but we knew it wasn't normal. Ah, yes, talking about the Caribbean background or being in the kind of, right though? Totally normalized. All of this abuse is always totally normalized. And it is so painful, but it's not normal. This is not. We cannot keep going around and saying that this abuse that we all suffer is just part of life. Because it shouldn't be part of life. Why should it be part of life? Why should we have to do this? Anna Marie, I will be they and Dunsis. Josh Lawrence, I love him too. You know why I didn't stay dead? I will never go. Emma Very, I love you. Feel my love, big sis. Oh, Anna Marie, I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of trouble following there, but you know what? I'm just going to say I love you. Because I do, and I love you so much. So thank you. Cassie, the shark was a great analogy. Oh, thank you. Running from a shark. Okay. Anna Marie, you say, if you can feel me, pass my love and my feelings to my baby sister, Emma. Emma Very. All right, sweetheart, I will for you. Okay. Alrighty. So, Jessica Davila, you say, I have always thought I have dealt with it, but something is holding back my happiness, and I'm not sure what it is. This is it, though, Jessica, sweetheart. This is it. Again, I was the same way. I did not know why I was so void of emotion. I did not know. You have to go back. The answers to what you seek, literally the answers to these questions, to what is holding back this happiness that you want, what is holding back this love, the feelings, the emotions. They're all within you. You just gotta look at yourself. Turn off all the distraction. Don't listen to anybody else. Just simply go inside yourself and just be like, I'm going to find this feeling. I'm going to find where this energy was created from, and I'm going to process it. And I promise you, there is nothing but good things that will come of this, Jessica, and to everybody watching. When you do inner work, yes, it hurts. You're dredging up a lot of negative emotions, a lot of negative energy. But when you release it, the only thing that you will feel is love. Because in the absence of this fear, of this negativity, the only other thing is love. Because that's what all energy is. If it is not negative energy, if it is not fear, it is love. Right? So if you can clear that fear out, you literally have no choice but to feel love. And it is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So nothing bad will come to you for going down this road, for going down this cycle, for rediscovering, for re-feeling this pain. Yeah, it hurts, it stings, but once it's out, you're healed. You're healed, and you go on and you can live and experience life with the full breadth of your emotions, with the full being of your love. To give that love to another individual and to have it return to you in full force and for you to feel it. It's beautiful. Why do you guys think I love doing what I do? Why do you guys think I love being a teacher? Because I pour my love out to you and you give it right back and I feel it. And I love it. If I'm addicted to love, it's definitely an addiction I'm happy to have. This feeling of peace, of calmness, of happiness, of joy. It's beautiful, right? Okay. Jessica, Muncie, Amishtal, she teaches fellow energies how to evolve consciously. Excellent, thank you. That was a really, really easy way of telling everybody what I teach, so thank you. Brandy, very non-committal and afraid to be vulnerable, even when they finally find real love. Yes! Oh, sorry, my legs need to stretch out. But yes, Brandy, you are absolutely right. How many men do that? They literally, when they are approached with love, they get scared, right? Because they don't want it to be taken away. But I tell you this, when it is because we are still loving each other on a lower frequency, on a lower vibration. And I tell you, man, Brandy, when you clear out this negativity, or when people can clear out this negativity, and when they love in full force, the other person on the other end is no longer in fear. If they are in fear, it is because they may have lost a little bit of control, but that's still their own fear within themselves, right? But I tell you, I have received so much love from those who are not fearful. But to answer your question, though, the individuals who literally fear that love, being taken away from them, you have to think it's because they've had a lot of abuse. And for them to drop their guard, to open up, to accepting this love, to have it taken away could crush them. Could have completely crushed them. So they do what everybody has been doing for centuries, which is running from it. Running from that fear. Running away from it and not embracing it. Running away from love because fear is telling you that you could lose it. So I'm not even going to experience it at all. Which is so very sad. But again, I tell you this though, Brandy, compassion. Compassion is the key. When you have an individual who is running from love, show them compassion. It draws you in like a moth to a light bulb. Like a moth to a flame. And it's so difficult to draw yourself away from love when you feel it. When you feel it deep down into your core. It is so difficult to run away from that. And especially when you have compassion delivering it. So this is what we need to do. We all need to change our mindsets. We all need to go inside ourselves. Find this. So, Haley. Oh, hi, Haley. Cassie. Oh, yes, ma'am. This present was the first that I addressed. Was just referring to the pattern that I found going into past lives. It was shocking and illuminating as well. Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely, Cassie. Oh, you learn a lot of things from your past life. That's for bloody well sure. Great things. Charles. For years, I have on and off been caught in a cycle of emotional and physical abusive relationships. It often seems my mild manner is taken for granted, and some people try to walk all over me. I went from, let me go up there a little bit more. Sorry, I lost my place. I went from temporary living situations to one that is even more extreme and stressful. It has been very difficult for me to deal with someone. Alcohol-fueled anger. I have honestly felt like I was close to being physically attacked by someone who has a very hard time regulating their mood or emotions after drinking too much. And I'm concerned about this energy mixing into my own vibrations, and it has caused me to be a bit hostile now towards others due to pent-up frustrations and anger and bottling it up. I'm so tired of the emotional put-down. Lord, help me, please. Charles, sweetheart, what I can say is, if you're around individuals that are not causing you joy, that are reenacting the abuse that you have faced, it is up to you to stop it. You don't have to be around people you don't want to be around, sweetheart. Simply don't engage with them. Find alternate accommodation as fast as you can. Don't be so hasty to go into accommodation if you are not sure that you will be in an environment that will uplift you. Right? Don't be so hasty with it. If you are being taken for granted, if you have a mild manner and you say you are being taken for granted, stop it. Go inside yourself and find Why is it that you have let this pattern, this cycle continue? Right? Just like I had to go in and find why I let my cycle and pattern continue. Right? We all have to do this. When we do this, we will stop it. But stop looking outwards. Stop looking at the people who are doing the abusing and look at inside and why you are letting those people abuse you and why you have not stopped it thus far. Right? Find that out, my sweetheart, and you will find your answers. And then you will find that you will no longer be in these situations. Because I know it's hard. Oh, the emotional ups and downs. It's so difficult. My heart is with you, though, my sweetheart. My heart is with you. And I want you to find alternate accommodation as soon as you can, because you should not have to live like that, sweetie. You shouldn't. Okay. Charles, you say again, I know it would sound far-fetched for me to think any of these people' behavior has been at all influenced by modern technology. It sounds a bit like paranoia. I'm sure many would wonder why anyone would say such a thing. It probably is not the most likely explanation. However, I'm certain such technology does exist and can even verify, but don't want to distract too much from the main topic here. So lose out on the money I paid already. Maybe that is for the best. You got to think, though, Charles. You got to think about it, though. If you're focusing on other people and wondering why their behaviors are so terrible towards you, what is happening with them? You're saying technology, right? Is it technology? If they're influenced by alcohol, Charles, it doesn't matter. Whatever they're going through in their path and their journey has nothing to do with you. You cannot fix them. You are not responsible for their behaviors towards you. But you are responsible for how you respond to their behaviors towards you. If they are responding to you in a negative way, if they are responding to you with disrespect, derogatory comments, violence, if they are responding to you like this, don't look at them and be like, why is this happening? Look at yourself and see, like, why am I accepting this? Because it doesn't feel good. It makes you feel like you have to have your back against the wall. So, if you may lose out on some money, you kind of gotta weigh it up. Is the money worth the emotional turmoil you're going through? Right? Oh, thank you, kiddo. My very large, beautiful son. You've gotta ask yourself, like, would you pay somebody $500 to abuse you? Would you give somebody $500 to threaten you, to abuse you? Of course not. Of course not. I would leave, but that's because I can't take that kind of abuse and negativity without flipping a switch, right? So, again, you're going to have to weigh it up there. Or, like I've been saying in this whole topic, you could try showing them some compassion. You could. You could try showing the individuals around you some compassion if you feel that you are strong enough, and have found a way to do so. However, if you do not feel that you are able or capable right now to overcome those emotions in order to find the path to speak to them, then I would say simply change your environment. Anna Marie, my love is the key for my sisters, Emma. Very. I've taken the hurt away tonight, and hon, I know you feel. Please feel what I'm giving. I love whoever need it. I know you are. Please take what that is giving you my love, and her is strong. I know her. I've never done that. I'm doing this for my sisters, Emma Very, and I'm nephew, my Josh. If you can feel me, please let me become... Oops, sorry. Let us turn that back around. Sorry about that, you guys. Just got to see my headboard there. If you can feel me, please let me, become you need my love I give to you. Let me know. Oh, sweetheart, anyway, if you are giving me your love, I'm happy to receive it, and I give it right back to you. Sweetheart, I give it right back to you. I'm full of it. I promise you. I know I've just shared some very, very, very in-depth, very deep kind of trauma and so forth, but don't worry, I've processed that sucker. It is literally nothing but a memory. It doesn't exist. It is nothing but a memory. When the energy is released, it's like, oh, well, it's just a memory. And it will never affect my future. But I do feel you, my sweetheart. I do. And if you need me to open up your heart for your sister, Emma, and your nephew, so that they can feel your love energy, I'm happy to do so. I'll open up yours too. Okay. Charles, you say I have. Okay, wonderful, sweetheart. All right. So, that is basically what I've got for you guys all. I know that was a really, really long kind of observational explanation kind of thing. But I suppose the main conclusion is simply that we all need to do a lot of inner work to stop these cycles, to understand ourselves, and we all got to find our compassion. We just got to find our compassion. Let's all become aware. Let's all look at the circumstances of others. Let's all use that empathy that we have inside us to just stop and take a minute and understand our partner. Understand our partner without the me kind of thing. That's how compassion really works. When we can stop being within ourselves for just a second to look outside and look at our partner and just be like, hey, what circumstances are they going through? So that we can help each other, so that they can do the same with us. But again, you only get there by doing your inner work. Jay Love, most people are not willing to do the inner work. Jay, yeah. You're absolutely right. Most people aren't. Because again, for one, people have been taught and programmed to avoid themselves, to not even know themselves. That some have been taught that inner work, which is basically just personal therapy, and expressing yourself and your emotions is a waste of time or doesn't do anything or means you're weak. They've been taught that. A lot of times, again, people run from inner work because it does hurt. Dredging up all of the past things that had happened to you, it hurts. It hurts tremendously. I know when I was dredging up all of this stuff, literally, Kulipup had to literally walk on eggshells with his words because I was just like, because everything associated with my abuse and reliving that pain. So, but still, it hurts. Summer, it scares them. It does. It terrifies people. Who truly wants to go back to a time where they were in so much pain? Nobody wants to do this. Who wants to clean their house when it's full of rubbish? Nobody. We'd love to go get a cleaner to do it, but no. The only person that's going to be able to clean your house is you, because your house is your body, your house is your heart, your house is your vessel, your house is your mind. And unfortunately, you can't get any other cleaners to come in there. You got to clean your own house. Nobody likes getting their hands dirty, but everybody likes a clean house, though. We all like it when our couches are squeaking clean and our floors are sparkling. So clean your house. Jay, indeed, they are focused only outwardly, right? Because the fear is always inside. So this is why it's so easy for people to become distracted. So easy for them to become distracted. Because again, if we run from fear and the fear is inside ourselves, that means we run from ourselves. It means we never want to face our own fears. We never want to conquer our own fears. We will criticize everybody else's fears because it's easier, because they're not ours. We don't like to take responsibility for our actions and how our actions have brought us to where we are today. Because again, we just run. We're just scared. So, I've said a lot of stuff there. Hello, Hazel, my sweetheart. I love you too. Oh, bless you. I love you so much. So, I suppose it is, what time is it now? Oh my goodness, it's 10:11. I did not even realize it was that late. But if you like, I'm happy to take a couple more questions. If not, then I'll probably just tell you what's going on, what's going to be going on for the rest of the week, and my plans and so forth, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who have been watching and, you know, wondering when things are happening and everything like that. So, you know what, I suppose I will do that now, and if there's any questions that come in. Susan, really what to say with, but it's 3:10 a.m. will reply, oh, Susan, please go to bed. I have no clue how you stay up so late. But I love you. You are always catching my lives. I'm like, I would have totally watched the replay. But I thank you for being here, sweetheart. Well, so what's going to happen now? I'm doing a little bit of a restructuring in terms of how I receive messages. Facebook won't let me organize a lot of things, so like in the way I want to organize them. So what I'm going to be doing soon is I'm going to be placing on my profile cover there some instructions on how to message me to get the best response. So like, for example, if you need a reading, I want you to put like reading, like in capital letters, the first thing, so that when I see the messages, I can literally categorize them or search the tag reading, and everybody who wants a reading will come up. And like, you know, if you just want, if you want healing, like, you know, you put healing in there, and I'll just search everybody that wants healing. And so I can kind of get through a lot more people, because I know I'm just getting lost in messages, totally lost in messages. If you have recently been giving me a call and I've not been able to answer the phone for the exact same reason, I'm just here, there, and absolutely everywhere. If you are looking for energy flow assistance, you know, if you have a request that you want help with manifestation or anything like that, so same kind of thing again. So I'm going to organize that, and hopefully everybody can kind of go on there as well. Just wanted to give everybody a reminder as well, if you are looking for a psychic reading and I am just like not available, or you're just waiting a really long time, because just remember, just because you've asked for a reading doesn't mean I'm going to get to you like immediately. I may get to you in a couple of days, maybe the next week, maybe in a couple of weeks. It depends on how long the list is, right? So if you are looking for a reading and you want something more immediate, then I really, really recommend checking out my group, which is Frequency 51, Psychic Readings, Life Coaching, and Guidance as well, where I pop in every now and then. However, there is a great group of readers there who all come from the Frequency 51 Personal Development for the Evolved Mankind group, who they have found their line of truth or are developing their gifts. So they feel with their heart just the same way I do, and can still offer you some fantastic advice. They are all beautiful and amazing individuals, and I know a few of them are watching right now. So if you are part of the Frequency 51 Psychic Readings, Life Coaching, and Guidance group, I would love you to, you know, comment on this post right now to say, hey, you're available for some guidance, you know, so people know that you are there. And your words are so very, very much appreciated and needed in this time to help people with some healing. If you are looking for, of course, you know, just general development of your abilities and to join our community, please go to the Frequency 51 Personal Development for the Evolved Mankind group, where, you know, we've got lessons going on, we've got great questions, and just a community of people all looking to evolve, help with inner work, help with guidance, and so forth. So please definitely do so. Let's have a look here. Oh, Charles, I feel very much at peace vibrationally with I am now a mid-sized city. My PTSD is not triggered as much where I am now. However, I would have more organic and vegan options traveling to Tampa, Florida. And the weather would be a lot easier for my body to handle. Praying a lot of whether I should play it safe or stay put or take a leap of faith, but doing my best to find my own answers. Wonderful, Charles. Absolutely wonderful. I promise you, sit with yourself for just a minute. Do a little bit of inner work. If you can, take like literally a few days out, 3 or 4 days, with the intent in mind that after this 3 or 4 days goes through, you will have an answer, or however time scale that you need. If you need more, great. If you need less time, fair enough. You know, but either way, just be like, by Saturday, I will have a decision and I will make a decision. But between now and Saturday, look inside yourself. Clear out any negativity that you can. I know I had to take out quite a lot from your heart when we were doing your healing. But again, the thoughts it still generates, right? So let's do that inner work. Let's clear out these fears. And then you will find your answers. I promise you, you will. I promise you, you will, my sweetheart. Oh, yes, we've got Jessica, Amishtal, Hazel, wonderful, Onoloko, all wonderful readers within the group. Brilliant. Okay. Anna Marie, I done this well from one old and my sisters, Emma, Very, and everyone. What they have, my sorry, sweetheart, but mass love to you. Pass it on. I will, sweetie. Thank you so much, Anna Maria. Thank you, sweetie Pete. Summer, the other evening I asked you if I was an empath and you told me that I wasn't, but that was something I can't remember, Law, and I would like to know more about my gift. Okay. Oh, so I told you what you were, and then you're like, oh, I forgot what it was. Okay. Summer, what I'm going to ask you to do on that one is, because there's more so guidance on this kind of topic and issue, if you haven't already, can you post this on my timeline? Not that I'm trying to avoid any sort of reading questions or anything like that, but I am phenomenally tired right now. Totally phenomenally tired, and it just takes a little bit more energy to connect and so forth. And I'm like, I can answer questions on the topic, which is cool, but to connect and do the readings and stuff like that, it's a little bit more energy for now. Pamela Hill, Lucas, looking forward to talking to you. Anything wonderful. So we've got Hazel, Pamela, Jessica, Onoloko, all there. Thank you, ladies, for making yourselves known. They are all some beautiful hearts that are within the Frequency 51 psychic readings, life coaching and guidance group. So please head on over there. Head on over there and ask some questions and get some answers, right? Okay, wonderful. Well, I think, you guys, that is it from me. I am getting a little bit sleepy. I'm going to go have some water or a cup of tea and maybe some ice cream or something. Thank you very much for staying with me and hearing my story. I know it was kind of hard to hear, and I know it's not something anybody likes to talk about, and nothing that anybody, you know, wants to hear or listen to, because it can be hard. But if my story or my circumstance and the situation that I had with Kulipup really helped you, then I just encourage you to speak as well. Let's stop making this a suppressive cycle. Let's start opening up about it, making it known, and making it known so that we can all start to heal better, right? And faster, with community and with love. Anna Maria, what time are you going off? Because someone needs my loves. You're in the UK. Oh, bless you, sweetheart. You're also in the UK, so you must be very tired. I'm going offline now. Although I know my status says I'm online, but I put my phone on the charger and then I don't look at it again, right? So so you may like come to me, but I won't be looking at my phone now until tomorrow. So I will be back with you tomorrow between the hours of like 4 to 8 or 9 o'clock. And that is Toronto, Eastern time, Toronto, Canada time as well. So that is it for me. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, sweethearts.